everyone, welcome in. This is Barry 3D at the iConis podcast. I'm still here at Comic-Con Walking Artist Alley. I am with Jackson Lanzing, and I was wanted to talk to him because he did some great work on Batman Beyond Neo City. If you don't have it, shame on you, you should get it. And here we go. So Jackson, what brought you to this project? How did you get a part of being part of that storyline? And
so I work with my best friend Colin Kelly, right? Lanzing and Kelly, we do all of our books together. We call ourselves the Hive Mind. We were pulled on by an editor named Dave Wheelghost from our time over at Batman. We'd done Batman and Robin Eternal with James Tynion and Scott Snyder, and then we did a book. We did the last few issues of Grayson when King and Seeley both had to move off of it. And so we'd gotten some feeling with the Bat Office. They kind of knew who we were. And they came to us, they were doing a project called Batman Urban Legends. And they said, hey, do you want to come in and do a 30-page Batman Beyond story for Urban Legends? And I said, yeah, absolutely. I love Batman Beyond. We watched him when we were kids, and I had revisited him in college. I love the character, I love the vibe. But as we were talking about it, we discovered that the thing that we were really interested in doing wasn't about doing. I'm not a big fan of stories that are just sort of lost episode stories. You know, when I did Star Trek, I took Star Trek forward. When I do a license like that, I want to break the toy and see how much I can reassemble it.
Right.
And so with Batman Beyond, we said, what would this look like if we finally got Bruce out of his ear? What would it look like if Terry had to become Batman without Bruce shadowing him? And what a challenge that would be for Terry, and what a challenge that would be for the idea of Batman Beyond, to take Batman quite literally beyond Bruce. And so that's where Batman Beyond Neo Year came from, a story that starts with Batman dying of a heart attack, Bruce dying of a heart attack in the Batcave, that his pacemaker's been overloaded, somebody's hacked into it, and Terry has to figure out who has killed Bruce Wayne, and how does he become Batman without Bruce. And that story becomes Neo Year. We turned in that 30 pages, and basically Dave hit us back up and said, never mind, it's a 7-issue series, let's go. And we made Batman Beyond Neo Year happen, and then we, off of the back of that, did Batman Beyond Neo Gothic, which was in the same way that Batman Beyond Neo Year was a tribute to Frank Miller and the sort of Batman Year One vibe, Batman Beyond Neo Gothic was a tribute to Scott Snyder's Court of Owls, to Grant Morrison's Batman run, and we were able to really tell a whole new story with Batman, with Terry, with the sort of crazy magic of Gotham City, and also a fun new take on the legend of Constantine, a character who I also really love, and who I'd always wanted to see the Batman Beyond version of. So we sort of got to do a lot of that all in our Batman Beyond run.
that is amazing, and the fact that you brought in Constantine in that whole storyline and cutting the cord, like that's what I'm going to say. You cut the umbilical cord of Bruce and Terry McGinnis, and actually said, what is he like without him? So here's my other question for you. Terry McGinnis has a younger brother.
Yeah.
Do you have any vision that you would have liked to see for his younger brother? I know a lot of people see him as Robin.
Yeah.
Did you want to go that way or something different?
So I think for us it was really important to actually start from scratch in terms of the wider supporting cast. So a big thing that we did was we said on page, I think it's like page 7 or 8 of Batman Beyond Neo Year, he calls his mother and his brother, he calls Dana, he calls a couple of other people, and he basically tells everybody who knows Terry McGinnis, get out of Gotham City, because whatever is gunning for Bruce is probably gunning for you. Right. So get out now, and then I will let you know when it's safe to come back. And that sort of became the story, was now those characters are gone, and in absence of them, Terry has to figure out how to live without his support systems. So it was less about, I want to see that character become Robin. They've done that in the comics before, and it's worked to varying degrees of success. But I thought what I really wanted to do was pull that supporting cast out from under Terry and build up a new one that was designed around him, not as Bruce's protege or as a Spider-Man character, but as the new Batman. And so in Neo Year, we introduce a new love interest in a detective on the GCPD called Bean Boomma, who Bean is a sort of a reflection of Jim Gordon and Bruce, but it's Terry and Bean. We wanted to introduce a version of Catwoman for Terry, and we built a character called Gestalt, who is 3 scientists who have tied their brains together and are using that super intelligence to commit crimes across the city. But they're not necessarily a villain, so can they become friends with Terry, right? All of this is about breaking down Terry's high school supporting cast and giving him a young man supporting cast, and that was really what we were trying to do.
Fair enough. So now, do you have other stories that you haven't told of this character yet that you would like to do? Or have they been signed for you to do them? I'm not asking you to give away anything.
No.
Right, but
no, we're not signed to do another Batman Beyond story. It's been a couple of years since we did Neo Gothic, and I loved it. It was a joy, but there's been a lot of editorial change over at DC, and there's different directives, and I think they want to give some other people a try, and I think that makes a lot of sense. I would love to come back to this version of the universe. I think any other Batman Beyond will probably go back to a version where Bruce is alive and it won't be our continuity. Someday I would love to come back. We did Batman Beyond Neo Year, which was very much our noir origin story. We did Batman Beyond Neo Gothic, which was our horror psychedelic story. I want to do Batman Beyond Neo Crisis, and I want to see what happens when you put Terry on a Justice League level threat. I want to blow it up, and I want to show what happens when Terry has to not just like save Gotham, but save the world. I want to know what that kind of Batman looks like on Terry McGinnis. So someday, some way, I really hope we can come back and do Neo Crisis, because it's a big goal for us.
Absolutely. I got my fingers crossed for you. So I got two last questions for you. So second to last question is, what book did you read that attracted you to comics? And did you have a storyline maybe for that particular character, looking maybe all those years back, right?
So I have two answers to that. The first is Sandman, which I grew up with. Sandman was a big thing in my household. My parents read it. Right. So I grew up with Sandman and Books of Magic just on the bookshelves in my house. So I've always wanted to tell a Tim Hunter story. Tim Hunter is like high on my list of characters I want to write. Colin is the same way. He also grew up with Terry, with Tim. So we actually, at a certain point in Batman Beyond Neo Gothic, Tim Hunter was the character who is now, there's a Catboy character named Kyle who's sort of the Constantine Beyond. Yeah. Initially that was Tim Hunter, and we couldn't get DC to approve it. So, someday I would love to do a Tim Hunter story, but I don't know what I would do. I would just love to tackle that character. Right. The other is Planetary. Yes. I desperately love Planetary, and that place I can say I have done it, right? So we did, last year, we did this book called Outsiders, which, though it doesn't look like Planetary, it doesn't smell like Planetary, it doesn't seem like it has a character in Planetary, it is Planetary 2. It is a story about what happens to all of those characters once they are bought and consumed by the DC universe. It's a meta story about what it's like to be an acquired character from another publisher who has to come into the DC universe and learn what that's like. And we did that with the same frame and function as Planetary. Every issue is an archaeological deep dive into some new part, or some part of the DC universe, from the rise of horror at DC to the inevitable sea monster graveyard that Aquaman must be hiding somewhere for all these sea monsters he keeps killing, to the Century babies, to what happens when your book gets canceled and you find yourself without a core title. What does that do to a DC character? All of that, and on and on and on. We were really able to do these really fun, exciting deep dives into the DC universe and do it through the frame of Planetary, while also experiencing it through the eyes of one of the characters, that being this new iteration of Drummer. So in this case, I actually got to do it with Tim Hunter, hopefully someday.
That's awesome. All right, and last question for you. I know we're talking a lot about Batman Beyond. I know you're doing a lot of stuff beyond that. Yeah. But on Batman Beyond, if you had to cast this character as a fan cast, who would you see playing Terry McGinnis? So
I don't know what I would say for my version of Terry McGinnis, that being the slightly older, slightly more wise version of Terry. I would really need to give that one some thought. He's such a fully formed character in my mind that I actually have a little bit of a hard time being like, that guy. But what I would say is, for starting out Terry, like Terry when Bruce first takes him in, yes, there's a young actor who was just in the new Karate Kid named Ben Wang. Yes. I think Ben Wang would fucking murder it. I think he'd be, I'm sorry, I'm speeching. I think Ben Wang would murder it. I think he would be so good. He has a really great sense of comic timing. He has a really great sense of tragedy. He has a great amount of pathos, and he can do all the stunts. So you could actually get that Terry McGinnis thing of, wow, that kid's actually doing it, without having to rely on CGI or animation or all of that. I know everybody likes the idea of a Spider-Verse version of it. I want to see it in live action. I want it to feel like The Raid. Give me Ben Wang, man. The Raid. Okay, good call, calling out The Raid. I love that movie. So thank you so much, Jackson. This is amazing. Everyone, make sure you, sorry, I kind of hit my camera. Check out the iConis podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe, and share. Don't let the show be a secret. And always remember, when you come to a Comic-Con, a fan
Expo, always go to Artist Alley. Forget all the big name stars. They made their money. You got to see where it gets created, who's kind of still giving us the backbone for all this that we all enjoy. And this is the iConis Podcast. This is Barry, and I'm out.